that's been very successful because, Singapore is also an technologically advanced economy. So I think that is definitely something that has happened in France also, you mentioned. So I think slowly and gradually it is not an overnight process.
I guess sort of enabling is required there, where perhaps India could also come in of aid. But now we're getting images of Prime Minister Modi, who's there in Accra, Ghana's capital, inside Parliament House of that African nation there. You can see him sitting there about to address this session of Parliament in Ghana.
Absolutely. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is about to address the Parliament of Ghana. We are aware that India is the world's largest democracy, and Ghana too has a significant reputation as a very stable democracy and an exemplary democracy for the world. Ghana is one of the 3 countries that Prime Minister will be going to, where he would be addressing the parliaments of those respective countries as well, out of the 5 countries that Prime Minister is visiting during his 5-nation tour.
Yes, and the Prime Minister Modi has had the honor to address a number of legislative houses
in this chamber of Her Excellency Professor J. Nana Opoku Ajiman, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. I also want to recognize, before I invite our special guests, the following people. We have the Honorable Veteran Member of Parliament, Cletus Avoka, now a member of the Council of State, representing the Chairman of the Council of State. The word Bam Bam, he learned it from India. Honorable members, we also have members of the Council of State, representatives of political parties. We have members of the Diplomatic Corps. We have the government chair. We have independent constitutional bodies, civil society organizations, and a large presence of the Indian community in Ghana. You know, our brothers and sisters from India, you know, the community is very vibrant and very, very, very hospitable, and we live together in peace and friendship. Now, permit me to acknowledge with high commendation the presence of His Excellency Shri Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India, in this August House. You know, even before independence, we took a lot of inspiration from India, right up from the formation of student groups in London up to the time of their independence on the 15th of August, 1947. His Excellency, the Prime Minister, is here to address the House pursuant to Order 67-1K of the Standing Orders of Parliament of Ghana. On behalf of leadership and honorable members, It is my privilege and singular honor to welcome His Excellency, the Prime Minister of the Republic of India, to this August House. Honorable members, with your indulgence, I have the greatest pleasure to invite His Excellency to address the House. Your Excellency, you may deliver your address now.
The Right Honorable Speaker, leadership of the House, honorable members of Parliament, members of the Council of States, members of the Diplomatic Corps, representatives of political parties, the Gamantase, independent constitutional bodies, civil society organizations, the Indian community in Ghana, Mache, good morning. I'm deeply honored to address this esteemed House today. It is a privilege to be in Ghana, a land that radiates the spirit of democracy, dignity, and resilience. As the representative of the world's largest democracy, I bring with me the goodwill and greetings of 1.4 billion Indians. Ghana is known as the land of gold, not just for what lies under your soil, but as much for the warmth and strength in your heart. When we look at Ghana, we see a nation that shines with courage, that rises above history, that meets every challenge with dignity and grace. Your commitment to democratic ideals and inclusive progress truly makes Ghana a beacon of inspiration for the entire African continent. Friends, last evening was a deeply moving experience. Receiving your national award from my dear friend, President Mahama, is an honor. I will always cherish that. इस सम्मान के लिए मैं 140 करोड़ भारतीयों की तरफ से घाना के लोगों का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। On behalf of the 1.4 billion people of India, I thank the people of Ghana for this honor. I dedicate it to the enduring friendship and shared values that bind India and Ghana. Distinguished members, earlier today, I had the honor of paying tribute to a visionary and statesman and beloved son of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. He once said, "The forces that unite us are intrinsic and greater than the superimposed influences that keep us apart." His words continue to guide our shared journey. His vision was a democratic republic built on strong institutions. True democracy promotes discussion and debate. It unites people. It supports dignity and promotes human rights. Democratic values may take time to grow, but it is our responsibility to preserve and nurture them. Friends, India is the mother of democracy. हमारे लिए लोकतंत्र एक सिस्टम नहीं बल्कि संस्कार है। हजारों वर्षों से लोकतंत्र ने भारतीय समाज को निरंतर गति दी है। फॉर अस डेमोक्रेसी इज नॉट merely a system. It is a part of our fundamental values. From thousands of years ago, we have examples of centers like Vaishali. The Rig Veda, one of the world's oldest scriptures, says, "Ano bhadraha kratavo yantu vishwatah." It means, let good thoughts come to us from all directions. This openness to ideas is the core of democracy. India has over 2,500 political parties. I repeat, 2,500 political parties. Twenty different parties governing different states. 22 official languages, thousands of dialects. This is also the reason that people who came to India have always been welcomed with open hearts. The same spirit helps Indians integrate easily wherever they go. Even in Ghana, they have blended into society just like sugar in tea. Distinguished members, The histories of India and Ghana bear the scars of colonial rule, but our spirits have always remained free and fearless. We draw strength and inspiration from our rich heritage. We take pride in our social, cultural, and linguistic diversity. We built nations rooted in freedom, unity, and dignity. Our relationship knows no bounds. And with your permission, may I say, our friendship is sweeter than your famous sugar loaf pineapple. With President Mahama, we have decided to elevate our ties to a comprehensive partnership. Friends, the world order created after the Second World War is changing fast. The revolution in technology, the rise of the global south, and shifting demographics are contributing to its pace and scale. The challenges such as colonial rule that humanity has faced in the earlier centuries still persist in different forms. The world is also facing new and complex crises such as climate change, pandemics, terrorism, and cybersecurity. Institutions created in the last century are struggling to respond. The changing circumstances demand credible and effective reforms in global governance. Progress cannot come without giving voice to the global south. We need more than slogans. We need action. That is why, during India's G20 presidency, we worked with the vision, one earth, one family, one future. We put emphasis on Africa's rightful place at the global high table. We are proud that the African Union became a permanent member of the G20 during our presidency. Friends, for India, our philosophy is humanity first. We believe in Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Paschantu, Ma Kaschid Dukh Bhag Bhavet. It means, may all be happy, may all be free from illness, may all feel what is auspicious, may no one suffer in any way. This philosophy embodies India's approach to the world. It guided our actions during the COVID pandemic. We shared vaccines and medicines with over 150 countries, including our friends in Ghana. We launched Mission Life, Lifestyle for Environment, to address climate change and promote sustainable living. This inclusive spirit powers our global initiative like One World, One Sun, One Grid, and One World, One Health for a healthier planet. International Solar Alliance to encourage solar energy and sustainability. International Big Cat Alliance to protect wildlife. And the Global Biofuel Alliance to advance clean biofuels and cut carbon emissions. I am glad that Ghana, as a founding member, will host the African regional meeting for the International Solar Alliance this September. This demonstrates our shared belief that the world is one family. Distinguished members, over the past decade, India has seen a major transformation. The people of India have reposed their faith in peace, security, and development. Last year, they re-elected the same government for the third consecutive time. Something that happened after more than 6 decades. Today, India is the fastest growing emerging economy. On the foundations of stable polity and good governance, India will soon be the third largest economy. We already contribute nearly 16% to global growth. Our demography is paying its dividend. India now has the world's third largest startup ecosystem. India is an innovation and technology hub where global companies want to converge. We are recognized as the pharmacy of the world. Indian women today lead in science, space, aviation, and sports. India landed on the moon, and today an Indian is in orbit giving wings to our human space flight mission. और कितना सुखद संयोग है कि भारत के कई गौरव भरे क्षण में अफ्रीका जुड़ा हुआ है। जब भारत ने चंद्रयान के चांद के साउथ पोल पर लैंड किया तो उस दिन भी मैं अफ्रीका में था, और आज जब एक भारतीय एस्ट्रोनॉट मानवता के उज्जवल भविष्य के लिए स्पेस स्टेशन में एक्सपेरिमेंट्स कर रहा है मैं एक बार फिर अफ्रीका में हूं। Africa has been connected to many of India's proudest moments in space. When India's Chandrayaan landed on the moon's south pole, I was in Africa. And today, as an Indian astronaut conducts experiments on board space station for the welfare of humanity, I am once again in Africa. This is no ordinary coincidence. It reflects the deep bond we share, our common aspirations, and our shared future. Our development is inclusive. Our growth touches the lives of every Indian. The people of India have resolved to make India a developed nation by 2047, when we celebrate 100 years of independence. As Ghana continues to pursue the path of progress and prosperity, India shall walk with you shoulder to shoulder on this road. Friends, आज ग्लोबल उठा पटक के हर किसी के लिए चिंता का कारण है। ऐसे में भारत का लोकतंत्र आशा की किरण बना हुआ है। उसी प्रकार से भारत की विकास यात्रा ग्लोबल ग्रोथ को गति देने वाली है। विश्व का सबसे बड़ा लोकतंत्र एक ऐसा स्तंभ है जो जितना मजबूत होगा, दुनिया को उतना ही सशक्त बनाएगा। वैश्विक स्थिरता बढ़ाने में योगदान करेगा। In these times of global uncertainty, India's democratic stability shines as a ray of hope. India's rapid progress is a catalyst for global growth. As the world's largest democracy, India is a pillar of strength for the world. A strong India will contribute to more stable and prosperous world. After all, our mantra is सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास, सबका प्रयास. It means together for everyone's growth, with everyone's trust and effort. India remains a committed partner in Africa's development journey. We support Africa's Development Framework Agenda 2063 to secure a bright and sustainable future for its people. Africa's goals are our priorities. Our approach is to grow together as equals. Our development partnership with Africa is demand-driven. It is focused on building local capacities and creating local opportunities. Our objective is not just to invest, but to empower, to help develop self-sustaining ecosystems. It is my honor to give further momentum to this partnership. In 2015, we hosted the India-Africa Summit. President Mahama was one of our esteemed guests. In 2017, India hosted the annual meeting of the African Development Bank. We have expanded our diplomatic presence to 46 countries across Africa. Over 200 projects across the continent enhance connectivity, infrastructure, and industrial capacity. Every year, our India-Africa Business Conclave generates new opportunities. In Ghana, we inaugurated the Tema-Pakdan railway line last year. It is the largest infrastructure project in this part of the African region. We welcome Ghana's own efforts to accelerate economic integration under the African Continental Free Trade Area. Ghana also holds great potential to become an IT and innovation hub in the region. Together, we will shape a future full of promise and progress. Distinguished members, free and fair elections are the soul of any democracy. It is encouraging to see our electoral commissions working closely together. I am confident that India's Election Commission will be honored to share its experience in conducting the world's largest elections with full trust and transparency. Parliamentary exchanges are also a cornerstone of the relationship between our two democracies. I recall the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association meeting held in Accra in 2023. It welcomed the largest Indian parliamentary delegation to Ghana, including state legislators in India. We deeply value such vibrant dialogue. I welcome the establishment of Ghana-India Parliamentary Friendship Society in your parliament. I propose to further reinforce our parliamentary ties. I invite you to visit the new Parliament of India. You will be able to see the bold steps we have taken to reserve 1/3 of seats in the Indian Parliament and state assemblies for women. You can witness the debate and discussions that are the hallmark of the Indian democracy. I assure you, they are as spirited and passionate as the game of your beloved Black Stars. Friends, India and Ghana share a dream where every child gets opportunities, where every voice is heard, where nations rise together, not apart. Dr. Nkrumah had said, and I quote, "I am not African because I was born in Africa, but because Africa was born in me." Unquote. In the same way, India carries Africa in its heart. Let us build of partnership, not only for today, but for generations to come. Thank you. Meda Muvase.
So building on that Africa Connect, as far as Western Africa and Ghana in particular are concerned, addressing the Parliament, the parliamentarians, the representatives of the people of Ghana is Prime Minister Modi. You've just heard him, and the message was very clear and simple. It establishes the kind of connect, historical connect that India has, but not just the part, it also established the kind of connect that
Wisdom
India has with Ghana.
Of the Prime Minister of the largest democracy in the world. A population of more than the population in Africa. $2,500 political parties. "22 official languages." No wonder they established the Public Accounts Committee that we know today as far back as 1921. So in 2021, they celebrated the 100 years of Public Accounts Committee in India. I want to assure His Excellency that our Public Accounts Committee will be visiting your Parliament to understudy your journey and to learn from you. Honorable members, we definitely would have cherished the words of warmth and wisdom from our leaders, but we are seriously constrained. And we are compelled to go by that. And so I apologize that we don't have space, even though initially we provided for it because of the tightness of the schedule. And so I will, with all humility, crave your indulgence to, on your behalf, please extend our warmest congratulations to His Excellency the Prime Minister of the Republic of India. We are honored by his presence. It was really a great pleasure listening to him. So, Your Excellency, on behalf of the Parliament of Ghana, the 275 members, that's not a large number compared to yours, I convey the gratitude of the House to you, and through you, to the good, brotherly people of India. We are extremely grateful, and with your kind permission, I will now proceed to suspend the sitting. please, I definitely can only once again appreciate the efforts Her Excellency the Vice President have done by leading this august visitor to our house. On your behalf, I thank her for all her love, her support and assistance, and the leadership that she has granted us so far. We are extremely grateful, Your Excellency. I believe I now have your blessing to proceed, to suspend I recognize that the honorable member is itching to visit India. I will assure you, I want to assure you that I will not hold my pen from approving your honorable members, please, time is not on our side, but my attention has been drawn to the fact that he's not alone, that he has a partner, and she is outdooring herself straight in front of us. So I thank honorable members for that. The love for the country of India, its people and its culture. And now, with your kind permission, may I proceed to suspend the sitting. Thank you so much for your evidence.
There you can see Prime Minister Modi has just finished addressing the House, and you could hear the sounds that emerged from the members of the House as to the kind of enthusiasm he generated and the kind of enthusiasm that India in itself generates for the people in this African nation, this Western African nation. where Prime Minister Modi has just addressed a special session, the joint sitting of Ghana's Parliament. There were members of Parliament dressed in ethnic Indian wear, and the Speaker of the House had also had to acknowledge the fact that a lot of members of Parliament want to visit India at the earliest and see, because it is a wonderment for a lot of African nations what India really stands for, the largest democracy in the world, and the kind of progress that it's been making, that it's the fastest growing large economy in the world as well. So it holds a lot of promise for several African nations, which is why there's that aspiration to not just visit India but also to shake its leader's hand when he comes to address them as representatives of a certain African nation's people.
Absolutely. Prime Minister Narendra Modi getting a lot of admiration and adulation in the and he very succinctly summed up his address when he said that Africa resides in India's heart, and that goes on to show the strong cultural, historical, traditional connect between India as well as Africa and Ghana in particular, and how even in modern times they are together in each other's development journey. Also, the Prime Minister saying that for the world, development of Global South should not be a slogan, we need action. And he referred to India's G20 presidency and said that under India's G20 presidency, India had the honor to get the African Union as a permanent member of G20. And he also said that it is important to note here that India believes in empowerment of Africa, in the capacity building of Africa. This is how India wants to see Africa develop.
Yes, and a lot of pointers as to how India wants to march along with Ghana as well in that address in multiple fields. The Prime Minister mentioned the fields of energy. Of course, he mentioned the fact that India and Ghana have already agreed in terms of how things are to be taken forward, where cooperation of institutions concerned, standardization, one of the pacts that have been signed, that was also mentioned, and how the proposition of India to an African nation like Ghana and vice versa is extremely attractive and has a lot of potential.
Absolutely, and Prime Minister also spoke about how India and Africa share some very memorable moments when it comes to the space sector. He referred to how when under Chandrayaan, the mission, the lander had landed on the moon. At that point in time, it was in Africa, absolutely, the dark side of the moon, or the south pole of the moon. And now when an Indian is doing experiments there in the International Space Station, then again, Prime Minister is in Africa. So let's welcome the new panel of guests. We have with us Atul Aneja, Foreign Affairs expert, and also Ambassador Esal Tayal. He is a former Indian ambassador to Uzbekistan and Republic of Korea. Such a pleasure to have the two of you here on DD India. Ambassador Tayal, we've seen the Prime Minister make multiple addresses to parliaments of various countries, and there are two more to go during the course of Prime Minister's five-nation tour. What is that one thing that really appealed to you in this address, if I may ask?
25-member Ghana Parliament that represents the people. So the 275 members will take the message of the Prime Minister of India back to the 3 crore people of Ghana. Now the message was structured, it was a very positive message, it was a message of partnership, it was a message of emotional connection, it was a message that founder President Kwame Nkrumah was mentioned that India has been with Ghana in their battle against colonization. Since 1953 we have an office there. Then the present, that how India and Ghana have a partnership, whether it is International Solar Alliance, whether it is a biofuel alliance, and so many other partnerships, whether they are economic, whether they are social, which...
Yes, Ambassador, hold your thoughts. Prime Minister Narendra Modi now joined by members of the Indian diaspora. There are around 15,000 Indians that live in Ghana, and Indians had come to Ghana even before the independence of Ghana, and they have since become a part of the Ghanaian society, much like the Prime Minister said that they have merged into the Ghanaian society like sugar merges or melts into tea. So that really goes on to say that there is a lot of synergy, a lot of mutual goodwill and respect that Ghana has towards India and towards Indians, and it is really a multicultural society in that sense, and Indians are very much part of it.
Yes, certainly you can see, and we've seen similar images from different corners of the globe as well, when Prime Minister Modi has travelled to foreign nations, that the strength So there you saw a very adulatory and at the same time intimate interaction with the members of the Indian diaspora there in Accra, the capital of Ghana. Prime Minister Modi visiting Ghana as the first nation of his 5-nation tour, his longest ever that is undertaken to any part of the globe. Here he is not only visiting Africa, Western Africa, but also the Caribbean and Latin America as a part of this trip.
Absolutely. In fact, there's a sizable Indian community in Ghana of around 15,000, and many of them have been in Ghana for over 70 years now. So the relationship is extremely important, not just in the diplomatic and strategic context, but also in terms of people-to-people ties. Ambassador, please continue. You were talking about, what really you thought really stood out to you as far as Prime Minister's address is concerned, and also how do you look at the kind of enthusiastic body language that we saw of the Indian community members there while meeting the Prime Minister, something which has become a very central part of Prime Minister's schedules across the countries that he visits.
And at the same time, Ambassador Tayal, I would also like your comment on how the PM was himself received by not just the Indian diaspora there, but the members of Parliament, the way they express themselves not just in attire but in their entire demeanour and conduct through the PM's address, and even later on when the speaker was trying to wind things up.
First, about the Indian community. See, ever since our Prime Minister's interaction in Madison Square Garden in 2014 and the kind of reception he had from the people of Indian origin, we have seen that almost 40 million is the estimated number of people of Indian origin abroad. They look at our Prime Minister with lot of hope, lot of aspirations, and lot of positivity that under his leadership, the country is moving forward. The country which was perhaps not galloping ahead as a economically is now going towards Viksit Bharat, because if India grows, if India's prestige in the world grows, if India becomes the third largest economy in the world, tangentially and peripherally, the status of the people of Indian origin abroad also goes up. That they belong to a country, they came originally from a country which is now doing so well. So that is, and always he has this ability to connect with the people of Indian origin and also of people at large, which we saw in the parliament. That the way our Prime Minister shook hands with so many members of parliament, he waded into that on the floor of the parliament and then shook hands, and then lady, she was in a sari. So there is a lot of positivity about India in Africa, because all of Africa, the 55 members of African Union, recall and remember India's stellar role in pushing decolonization, and now India's partnership in their own journey of development, which Prime Minister again and again emphasized in his address, whether it is International Solar Alliance or Biofuel Alliance or the capacity building. And very pointedly he made this point that when India extends any assistance, for instance, we have almost $500 billion of concessional aid and assistance we have given to Ghana. Thousands of high-tech scholarships and thousands of their professionals over the years have been trained in Indian professional institutions. That provides a very strong foundation for having goodwill among the masses, among the people. And that is what was reflected in the response of the elected members of Parliament of Ghana, 275 members. And then, of course, Prime Minister admired, appreciated the vibrant democracy of Ghana, when so many other countries in Africa, unfortunately, are not able to follow full democratic principles. He talked about the cooperation or possible collaboration about our election commission, and also invited a delegation of Ghana Parliament to visit our new Parliament. And the Speaker, Honorable Speaker of the Ghana Parliament was immediately ready that the Public Accounts Committee, perhaps, of Parliament of Ghana will visit India. So there was an immediate response, very positive response, and that shows the foundation of great goodwill, friendship, cooperation, which exists between the people of India, people of Ghana, which is reflected in the sentiments and the body language of the elected representatives of the Ghana Parliament.
Atul, if I could come to you and ask you specifically about the kind of words the Prime Minister Modi had for Ghana itself, the words of praise that he used, how do they indicate the kind of partnership that India is trying to build upon with Ghana, which has already extended through the decades, but it seems is now going in a direction where there might just not be any limits?
That's right, Gautam, that, the level of relationship is being taken to a new height now. It's not that we haven't had this special relationship with Africa in general and Ghana in particular, which Ambassador Tayal was referring to, which is born out of the decolonization experience. And thereafter, India's success story, somehow, because the journey of decolonization starts almost together, separated by about a decade or so, the Africans identify themselves with India and India's success. And that is a special connect which is formed. And then, secondly, as India grows, India's willingness to share its progress and its growth with the countries of Africa and people of Africa. I think that reinforces that connect. But now, Gautam, what you have seen is that this entire special relationship which India has with Africa and with Ghana is being taken to an altogether new level because of this comprehensive partnership which has been signed today. And that means that the relationship now is a 360-degree relationship, all spheres of interaction, whether it's economic, cultural, people to people, sports, etc. defense and security as well, all fall within the ambit of a comprehensive partnership. So that's the major elevation which has taken place in ties today. I think the message is not just for Ghana, but for entire Africa and the global South in general. I think it's important to also keep in mind what the Prime Minister said about that the post-Second World War order is changing. Yes. That the context of interaction in a multipolar world where India is strongly one of the major poles of the world is standing by Africa. So I think that India's hand-holding and partnership with Africa at a time of major change in the globe is also a message which I thought went through to the people of Ghana and to the government of Ghana, as well as to Africa in general.
Absolutely, Mr. Aneja, taking that point forward, when the Prime Minister says that India is focused on building capacity, India wants to empower and deliver self-sustaining ecosystems to Africa, and what is the message that is really going out to, say, a country like China and even to the African continent? Do you think that they'll be drawing a parallel that when it comes to, say, the availability of critical minerals and rare earths in Africa, or when it comes to how Africa as a whole and various countries there have been treated by colonial powers, by, say, Britain in the past, you know, a very exploitative approach by the colonial powers and also by China. And here is India talking about Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas. Do you think that that sort of a contrast is understood by Africa, and Africa would like to take this relationship forward much more than, say, any other relationship?
Yes, and I'd just like to add the message going on not just to countries like China, but up to others as well, who at one time used to lead this sort of crusade, saying that we are taking development to different parts of the world, especially the ones that are lesser developed than us.
India is definitely turning out to be a role model. There's no doubt about it, because India's progress, now marching towards the third largest economy of the world, takes place on a very different political foundation, which is the foundation of democracy. And that is something which many, if not most, African countries understand. And that gives them hope that it is possible to grow and develop without sacrificing your basic principles of democracy. I think that makes India's relationship and India's success very, very special. When it comes to, there's another dimension, I think, is also the fact that India alone, compared to the rest of the world, has this diaspora population people who have been extremely successful in their respective countries. And that adds on to the gravitas of India and the uniqueness of India. And I think that's something which I would agree completely with Monmouth, that, you know, that is an imagination of India or an image of India, which I doubt other countries share. And frankly, to be honest, I was in China about a fortnight ago, and they were speaking about Africa and saying that, you know, you guys have a very special connect, a very unique connect to Africa, which we don't. So it's also acknowledged in several quarters of the world of this unique relationship. And also, finally, this gives a great opportunity to raise our game, raise the level of our relationship, something which started with the G20 summit, when India played a major role, if not a critical role, to get all the 56 countries of the African Union become part of the G20. So I think that particular special connect, and with Africa and Global South, as part of India's outreach and foreign policy outlook, I think it's rubbing on to the African countries. My only hope is that, you know, we take full advantage in a positive sense of this special and a unique bond which we have with Africa, and take it forward in all spheres of endeavor as India grows in the future.
Certainly. Let's talk about India's role in terms of being a possible enabler for Africa. One sphere is digital public infrastructure, or you know, if you talk about specifics, UPI, Ambassador Tayal, because it's interesting that India had this trinity developing of JAM. It was very, very fortuitous for us. A lot of forethought went into it by our leadership. Africa, I'll add data to that as well, because data is one thing which is not very consistent. India has one of the cheapest data in the world. which may not be true for Ghana, although again it's fairly cheap compared to the developed nations, but they're not on par. So do you think India can be an enabler there for not just Ghana, but other countries of the global south, particularly in Africa as well?
Very much so. And I would like to add one more point to what Mr. Aneja was saying, that India's experience is more relevant to democratic countries like Ghana because China is a communist dictatorship. So, how India in the last 10-15 years has been able to pull tens of crores of people out of poverty under a democratic system with shared prosperity and shared growth, as Prime Minister said, that sabka saath, sabka vikas, sabka prayas, that applies equally to within India as well as to the Committee of Nations. So I think to that extent, democratic countries like Ghana would perhaps find the Indian experience more acceptable to them and more replicable in Ghana. Then, of course, the way public services have been provided almost without cost in India, 1.3 billion people, whether it is UPI payment, the poorest person in India has a mobile in his or her hand, and they have bank accounts, and it's a very inclusive model of growth where everybody is moving up in life. That is, I think, the biggest message which comes from India's growth story, that each and every person on the ladder of personal development, personal growth, personal prosperity is moving up the ladder. And it is not that only sections of society are prospering. I think that also the African countries and African leadership are watching. Then we have this E-Vidya Bharati and E-Arogya Bharati, all whatever experience we have, we are ready to share with African countries through electronic connectivity, and for that, of course, you need data which should be very cheap. Again, India is a role model, but I think India perhaps has the cheapest data in the world. So it should not be in the hands of private companies which are rapacious, but they should be controlled in a manner that the volumes are very high, and private companies, telecom companies, make their money out of volumes. That is another experience which India brings to the table. Then our Aadhaar card, and there are so many new examples of e-governance which reduce corruption, which increase satisfaction of the public in obtaining public services. Again, we have phenomenal experience, and all of this can be shared with the people of Ghana, government of Ghana, and public service of Ghana.
Absolutely. We'll take this discussion forward, but before that, let's bring our viewers up to speed with all that is happening during the two-day visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Ghana, today being the second and final day. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi continues to garner global recognition for his statesmanship and soaring popularity on the world stage.
Yes, and the latest honor that has been accorded to him, he has been conferred with National Honor of Ghana, the Officer of the Order of Star of Ghana, excuse me.
Yes, by President John
Dramani
Mahama, and here's a roundup. Okay, let's tell our viewers that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is being now accorded a colourful farewell with a lot of culture thrown in.
Even in the dance and music movement, it seems there's a lot of similarity because I could just think of some sort of African bhangra now happening right outside the Ghanaian parliament.
Absolutely. Goes on to show the strong cultural and people-to-people connect. Those visuals were coming in, by the way, from outside the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi is now winding up the first leg of his five-nation tour. He'll be now headed to Trinidad and Tobago in a short while from now. That's in the Caribbean region. But let's tell you about how the Prime Minister has been getting honours repeatedly by countries around the world, and he continues to garner global recognition for his statesmanship and soaring popularity on the world stage. And in the latest honour, he's now been conferred with the National Honour of Ghana. It's called.
In March 2025, Barbados conferred on him the Honorary Order of Freedom of Barbados. The award was presented by the President of Barbados and accepted on the Prime Minister's behalf by Minister of State for External Affairs, Pavitra Margarita. In the same month, during Mauritius's National Day celebrations, PM Modi was awarded the Grand Commander of the Order of the Star and Key of the Indian Ocean, the highest civilian honor of Mauritius. He is the first Indian leader to receive this recognition. In April, Sri Lanka honored him with the Sri Lanka Mitra Vibhushana Award, the country's highest honor for foreign leaders. It was also the first time this award was presented to an Indian leader. Last year in July, he was officially presented with Russia's highest civilian honor, the Order of St. Andrew the Apostle. Though it was awarded to him in 2019, he received it in person in 2024. The award recognized his key role in building a strong strategic partnership between India and Russia and promoting friendship between the two nations. In November 2024, Nigeria conferred upon him the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, its highest honor. He became only the second foreign leader to receive this award, showing the high regard for his global leadership. That same month, the President of Guyana, Dr. Muhammad Irfan Ali, awarded PM Modi the country's highest national honor, the Order of Excellence, for his visionary leadership and his support for the rights of developing nations on the global stage. Also in November, PM Modi was honored with Dominica's highest national award, the Dominica Award of Honor. The award recognized his leadership, support to Dominica during the COVID-19 pandemic, and efforts to strengthen ties between India and Dominica. In December 2024, the Amir of Kuwait awarded PM Modi with the Order of Mubarak al-Kabir, Kuwait's highest national honor. At the heart of these global recognitions lies Prime Minister Modi's vision, one that focuses on the well-being of all humanity and on peace and dialogue. Whether addressing conflict, climate change, or terrorism, the Prime Minister's message remains clear. The world must stand united and work together to find lasting solutions. Abhishek Bose for DD India.
Ambassador, coming to you, we've shown the viewers how Prime Minister has been awarded by so many countries. In fact, 20 plus countries have given the highest honors almost to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. If you could share your thoughts on what really this means as far as recognition of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's statesmanship by world leaders is concerned. Ambassador. So if you could unmute yourself. Okay, there is an audio issue with Ambassador. We'll take the question to Mr. Aneja. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Munmun, it just shows the recognition of Prime Minister Modi that it is only growing in momentum, as we saw with the visuals which you showed just now, coming from the time when he assumed office in 2014, and as he climbed on the global stage, along with India's success story, his willingness to engage with global problems and suggesting and trying to find solutions to them. So he became part of this global dialogue and a person who was there to help resolve issues which were sort of impacting on the globe. So that is the reason why, Prime Minister's voice, first
India's
of all,
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been awarded
you can see that the world is one family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. I mean, that itself is a reflection of the Prime Minister's approach that we are just one part of the larger global family. So the outlook is international and global, and then you go along with separate particular problematic areas. This is not an era of war. His willingness to offer solutions to the problems between Ukraine and Russia, for example, the leadership of the G20. So you have it, the special relationship which India has built under his leadership with the Middle East, including the Gulf countries.
Right.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Mr. Aneja, just to tell our viewers what is happening. The images that we are putting out on air right now, Prime Minister Modi is now departing from Accra in Ghana for his next port of call, which is the capital of Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. That's the port of Spain.
Yeah.
So he's concluding, wrapping up his extremely successful and landmark visit to Ghana, a prime ministerial visit after decades. And again, you can see the Vice President of Ghana seeing him off there at the airport.
Absolutely. It's a visit by an Indian Prime Minister to Ghana after 30 long years, after 3 decades. And you would remember that the President of Ghana had come to the airport to receive Prime Minister Narendra Modi yesterday. And the bilateral relationship has now been elevated to a comprehensive partnership. Also, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has received Ghana's National Honour, Officer of the Order of the Star, for global leadership during the historic state visit. Like we are saying, it's the first pan-Indian Prime Minister in 3 decades. The relationship goes back several decades. India had opened its representative office in 1953. That was prior to Ghana's independence, and established full-fledged diplomatic relations with Ghana in 1957, immediately after it attained independence. And the Prime Minister has also made a mention of how the freedom struggle has been a shared sort of an experience between India and Ghana, saying that the freedom struggle of our countries has inspired many others. And even today, Ghana's vibrant democracy serves as a beacon of hope in West Africa. So day 1 was high on substance and symbolism both, and day 2 again high on both substance and symbolism. Also, Prime Minister addressed the Parliament of the House of the Republic of Ghana.
Yes, it just reflects the kind of proposition that India represents to the global south. This particular visit extremely significant in terms of expanding India's footprint in a part of the world that is rising, just like India is. That's what India and Africa really represent and share in common as well. It's not just the kind of past that they've had racked by the remains of the after effects of colonialism, but they hold a lot of promise now. They are rising, they're aspirational, a lot of youth power resides there, and all that makes for a perfect partnership for the future. Let me thank our guests on that note, Atul Aleja and Ambassador Tayal. Both of you, thank you for joining us in this special program to talk about Prime Minister's visit to Ghana, which is just the first nation that is visiting as part of this trip to 5 different countries in 3 different parts of the world.
Absolutely. He'll be coming back to this part of the world, by the way, because from Africa he goes to the Caribbean and then to South America, and then he'll be coming back to Africa before, of course, he comes back to India. With that,
again,
we'll take your leave.
Africa.
Yes, Western Africa, Namibia, that is. We'll take your leave in this special broadcast. Thanks for watching.
I will be carrying on as well after a bit, so do stay with us for that one as well.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you. With majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar. अरे it fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?